We've got some maps that are bigger than this that will support up to 6-on-6. And the nature of our game is that small teams make it work well because the game is chaotic enough with all the different weapons and the fast action that really big teams, you start losing what the heck's going on. Did he ask about numbers? So how many game modes?
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to emphasize this is a game that is ongoing support. We could, if we wanted to, ship with, I think there's 8 or 10 different experimental game modes we're messing with right now.
Yeah.
What we want to do is we want to come up with 2 or 3 really good ones that are our first ones and have some that are kind of in the experimental section of the game so that some of the beta testers, they can know they're getting into experimental game mode. They can play it, they can give us feedback on how that game mode went, and then some of the more popular experimental ones will become part of the regular rotation. So initially we're thinking we're going to keep it rather small and have only 2 or 3 game modes in the regular rotation.
I want to interrupt you, but this is exactly why remote rockets are really great. So as you can see, what Kindle's doing right here is he's launching a rocket. He actually controls exactly how it moves up and down, left and right on all axes. So you can pretty much direct your rocket directly to where all the action is. So obviously that control point over there on the far right side of the screen is the one that's been activated. So now he's actually killing people from the opposite side of the map. So granted, you will be able to find out where those rockets are coming from if you're a smart enough player, but it's great strategy for Kindle to play kind of defense as well as protect his team, especially if he had made that rocket a healing rocket.
Yeah, that's right, and that's an interesting thing that you can do as well. When he said, I have a sniper healing gun, that might sound weird. It's like, why did they put a sniper healing gun in the game? We didn't. We gave Kindle pieces so that he could make a sniper healing gun if he wanted to. So remote control missile like the one you saw there, if you attach a healing payload to it, you've now made a remote control healing thing. That's actually really useful on some of these area control games because what you can do is as your team is grabbing the control point, you can be supporting them with healing from a safe place. Again, there's all kinds of different ways to play this, all kinds of tactics and strategies depending upon what weapons you've made and how you like to play.
I'm actually looking now, and a lot of people are asking, what engine is this?
Ah, awesome. Thanks. Thanks for asking that question. This is our engine. Edge of Reality has actually been around for, I think, 13 years now.
14,
12 or 13?
over 14, yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
So we've made a whole bunch of different games with our own engine. And so this is the engine internally that is developed kind of over the long haul. All the features of it are ours, and the engine team, kick-ass job, has not only been doing all the stuff that would be required to support multiplayer and all the things we want to do in terms of letting people into the beta test, but also adding all the features into this game that we've been requesting so that it's exactly what we want. So this is our engine, and we basically control how it behaves and what the features are in it because we want it to be for our game.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a few other questions here. Obviously, Red Hat Drew asked, will we get to see Fisher today? He obviously keeps up in what we're doing, but the answer is no.
Somebody requested a specific level. That's
well,
awesome.
because we put up a screenshot yesterday of the first screenshot of Fisher that our art director gave me, it's not ready just yet, but you will see that, especially if you go to the Rooster Teeth Expo in Austin. July 7th and 8th will also be there. We'll have a booth, so people that are from Texas, in Texas, or near Texas can either come on in and hit up the Austin Convention Center and see that level in action.
And if we're talking about something like, Rooster Teeth, you just mentioned July.
Yeah.
By July, if you're a fan of the game and you're listening right now and you've already signed up for the beta test, I've got every reason to believe that you've already played at that point, you're going to be playing Fissure there on the beta test. So you'll have already played it and you'll be giving us feedback on the level. It is a bigger level than this one is.
Much bigger, yeah.
It's actually pretty complicated in the way that it's put together. It's got a lot of different levels, a lot of interesting connectivity. That map, there's a capture the flag game mode that plays really, really well on that map. Capture the flag doesn't work on a very tight, compact map like this. It doesn't work very well, obviously. But on a map like that one, it works really, really well. So that's a very popular game mode here as we're testing, is to play capture the flag on Fissure.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions about, obviously, Spectator Mode. I think a lot of people are concerned about being able to shut off the HUD so cinematic creators can actually make their own videos, and it's definitely something that we will look into. I don't see why not, but
it's something we do ourselves when we're doing things.
Yeah, so I mean, we know it's possible.
Yeah.
So But yeah, for you guys that create videos and stuff, I don't think will be a problem.
No, I mean, like, definitely as a person who's made a lot of box product games, this is where I have a gigantic sigh of relief, because it's like, have we thought of that already? Maybe. And if we haven't, I guarantee you that all it takes is for somebody to mention that in the forum and for us to go, oh wait, that is a really good idea. We should have done that. And then 1 week, 2 weeks later, suddenly you've got that feature.
Yeah,
so,
and once we have the beta, once we're full on ready to launch the beta, we will have a forum for you guys to submit feedback to. We obviously want to hear from you guys because we're gamers like you. We're self-publishing this bad boy. Yep. And we pretty much have control.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Especially Mark.
That's a great point. Well,
yeah.
The surprising thing is that the team is actually it's surprising from the point of view of somebody who maybe doesn't know game dev or how it works. A lot of times you've got a publisher and you're making the publisher's game, and the publisher is telling you what they think people want. So here we are making a game that we would love to have exist. Like we're like, this is the game we want. And then so we're going to then reach out to people who like games the way that we like games.
So real quick, I want to interrupt you one more time.
And see what you guys think.
I want to see the end screen here. As you can see, the two teams tied, and you probably saw the points that each player earned, which is pretty much how we rank, like any other game at that point. But you saw Kindle. What was your kill death ratio?
1.7.
1.7. So I mean, that particular game, you kind of were all over the place. You were healing. So. You can get rewarded for playing all kinds of different styles.
Yes,
you don't have to just be run and gun. You can actually sit there and heal and earn a lot of points to buy stuff. Anyway, I interrupted you about the way the industry works.
No,
so
I managed to finish it off there,
which
is that the entire idea is that we're making a game that we love. We want to make sure that it's something we want to play, and then we know that if we do that, we can say, hey, you guys also love games. Come play this game. Tell other people how awesome it is. And tell us where we've messed it up so that we can fix it.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of respect for a lot of teams out there that have done this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we're basically trying to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Another good question from cbrook787 on Twitter. By the way, guys, if you want to ask us any questions, please tweet at Loadout any question you have with the hashtag weapons, so me and Mark can see it. We're not able to gauge the chat room. We're very far away. So
yeah.
But cbrooks787 asks, will there be different character models?
Yes. In fact, I keep wanting to say we've got it now, and then telling Kendall to add it into the game. Obviously, I don't know what we can actually show right now because just technical things. But yes, we currently have got a second character model who is sort of loosely based on a Mr. T / Kimbo Slice type look to him. Same style as the main character you saw there in terms of like this really sort of larger than life, hyper cartoony, hyper violent dude.
Yeah, and you should be able to see him also at RTX in Austin. We haven't had an exact date when we're going to obviously unveil him, but you'll see him soon.
A good point to make though is that even the base character, if you change his hair and make him a blonde and completely change the way his hair looks, give him some facial, hair that's different than his stock facial hair, change his clothing, he suddenly looks like a totally different guy.
Yeah.
And with the customization options we're going to be giving you, you can do that. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of different base character models, but also there's going to be a lot of customization features that let you make him look the way that you want him to look. Our third character that's in the pipeline is, I guess we've kind of been calling her codename Helga internally.
Female
character,
yes.
I guess loosely based on kind of a big Viking, operatic, Bugs Bunny, kicking butt and taking names like all of our characters are. All right, so
we have some other we have some weapons. If you want to talk about what Kindle's doing.
We've started another game. We're doing. It's the same game type on the same map.
I have corkscrew.
Yeah, it's corkscrew now.
And now he's got a corkscrew weapon.
Yeah, but it's charged though, so.
It's charged. Okay, so the charge trigger logic lets you hold down the trigger and load up to however many at a time, depending upon what you've made. So he's now firing 3 corkscrews down the corridor and completely missing. And is on fire.
And burning to death alive.
Nice. Yeah. But corkscrew is one of the propulsion methods that you can put in there for rockets. I find that it is helpful in a lot of cases because as it's corkscrewing out, you are increasing your chances that it hits something, which in a case for somebody like me, I spend a lot of time thinking strategically, how can I make a weapon that's going to make up for the fact that my accuracy is not as good as some of the people I'm playing against.
It also helps because people can shoot down rockets. It's harder to shoot
Yeah.
down.
That's an excellent point. Kendall, only KL would think of something like this, where he says it's beneficial because it's difficult for people to shoot down your rockets. Yeah, that's a great point. A lot of times when I am dumping fire rockets on the arena, good players will see it coming and shoot it out midair. So corkscrew makes it a little bit harder for them to shoot down your guided missiles.
We have a question in regard to items. What about items that you can get only by playing the game? Are they available for everyone whenever they join, or event only? The way that works right now is, again, like for example, our plan is at PAX Prime to give beta users, free items that they can only get by attending PAX Prime. So those type of items you will not be able to purchase or earn in the game. They're going to be exclusive to you if you do show up at the show. But everything else, like Mark said, you will be able to earn in-game just by playing it, or you'll have the option to purchase it.
There'll be cosmetic things that are purchase only, but none of them will give you an advantage in the game.
Yeah.
So everything else will be earnable. The things we give out like PAX Prime will fall into that category of cosmetic stuff, or it might be like a weapon payload that shoots a particular. Like if we had a weapon payload that shot little ping pong balls with PAX written on them, it's not something that gives anybody a big advantage. It's just kind of cool and cute, and probably would behave a lot like one of our other weapon types. Yeah. But it would be a neat kind of shout out to people who are early followers of the game.
But you guys will have plenty of chances to auction that shit off on eBay.
Right.
So don't worry. Do weapons have unlimited ammo in the game? If so, what's the reason behind this?
Okay. So up in the upper left, we see where it says Bulldog 19 of 25. Excuse me. Now it's EMP 11 of 11. So what do you got here? This is a EMP.
It's a Tesla shotgun.
This is a Tesla shotgun he's got. And did you just switch back and forth? Are you switching between weapons just to confuse my explanation? Awesome.
No, I'm switching for different scenarios.
Okay, dude. I get it. Could you just for just a second here, play it slightly suboptimally for the benefit of the audience?
But when I respawn, it's going to switch.
All right, so 25 of 25. So right now he's got 25 in the chamber. Every time he fires, it's going to count that thing down. When it gets to 0, he has to reload. Can you run out of ammo in the middle of fighting the game? No, that's lame. I hate that. Why is that fun? There's an interesting trade-off between the number of kind of bullets in your chamber and when you have to reload, and so that's in the game because there's a cool trade-off there of what kind of guy do I want to be? Do I want to be somebody who can spew a lot and then duck and cover or run away real quick, or have high damage bullets but they run out after a few shots? But running out of ammo when you're still alive sucks. This is a very fast-paced game that we're not trying to take you out of the action ever. So being out of the action because for some reason you're out of ammo is terrible. So that's the idea behind that. Is philosophically we want you in the action at all times.
Yeah, speaking of, we had a question about the maximum amount of players that you're hoping to have on one map. So in this particular map, obviously it's a very small map, but I believe we could go 6v6 with this.
You could go 6-on-6 on this map. It is crazy.
Chaotic.
4-on-4 is chaotic enough. Yeah. KL here, who's a very strong player, is dying a lot. Which is not a bad thing, by the way. This game is really all about getting in the action, staying in the action. Yeah, I do it in a smart way, but dying is not like a big failure state or anything in this game. Because as you can see, you come right back into the action. On Fissure, I've played a couple 6-on-6 matches, and that feels right for that map.
It does.
It feels nice and full of action without it being something you can't keep track of. That's right. Right now, we're thinking the game is best served by 6v6. As we start experimenting with more maps, more game types, we may be convinced that we want to go bigger than that, but right now that's where the game is really sweet.
This is a good question, too, by BBarTech89. Will there be any type of perk system, example, you can run faster or roll farther or jump higher? And the one thing we haven't actually mentioned was boost.
Right.
Yeah.
So we, right now that's being handled through the equipment system. So if you wanted a particular perk, then you would take a piece of equipment that is associated with that perk. That is an area that is one of the... I'm trying to remember what exactly the order of things are that we're working on. So Clan is our big delivery, but we've got some minor deliveries in between that already planned out. Like we've got a support plan where we're going to be shipping things out, new features of the game, new content on a regular basis. So the idea of how equipment works and diversifying, I think, comes pretty early. It's considered a minor feature because it's not as big as, say, clans. And so there, like right now, there is equipment where you can have like a buddy turret. There is equipment where you can carry around like juice grenades, which would make you run faster and jump higher.